We are live. Who all is in here? It's a Friday and it's a really nice day, so probably be a little light turnout tonight, but that is totally fine. I hope everybody's enjoying their weekend already. Who all is in here? We've got Unfinished Project here, driving back from his marketplace purchase. You can see that on his channel. Lars talking about the thumbnail, so we'll get back to what we're doing with the thumbnail, but there's 10 pictures on there. Get into that here in just a minute. Auto Salvage Outlaw says, if you're not first, you're last. Blue Collar Performance Nate is here. My Aunt Nancy's here. NSB Custom Cars is here. Hello, everyone. Hot Rod Guy Garage. Dead Pedal Motors. Driving back from the power tour. Cool. Cool. Did you have fun? How eventful was it? Cope Racing Transmissions is in here, greeting Unfinished Project with his potato. James and James So says, what's up, John? Well, I'll tell you, James, you will appreciate this. Tuesday before last, 10 days ago, we challenged the No Name 500 guys to do 30 shorts for 30 days just to see what would happen. And most of them have taken us up on that. And so I decided to do it with them. And on the thumbnail for this video, there are 10 pictures, which are screenshots from each of the 10 shorts I've done. The one I did today and the previous 9. And the one I did today got 1,000 views in the first hour. So who knows what it'll be by the end of this live, but it was pretty popular. It was on that goofy anti-theft device, the Club. You remember that? If you remember the commercials for the Club, you're old. Who else is in here? Levi's here, eating Chipotle after a parts run. They opened one of those next door to my office. Back when I had a downtown office, they put one of those in. It's a college town, of course. There were people around the block, including some of these students, had a tent in the landscaping of my office and camped out there to be the first people to eat at the new Chipotle. Isn't that the craziest thing? Den of Dreams Garage, Kim Fixes Things, Mohawk 62, Rapid Transit J, Colleen Tebow / Mama M Cubed, because that's what that M3 is. Mopar's Mustangs and Minivans. He says all of it. Yes, indeed. That's literally what I said. So for those of you who did not see the short, hot tip, O'Reilly's is closing out of certain weights of Valvoline Max Life. And when I say closing out, they're not going to sell it anymore, and it is deeply discounted. I think it's more than 60% off. And I got all they could order in here. So like about half the state is on the system that this store is on. So from Lynchburg, Roanoke, Salem, Dublin, Fairlawn, Pulaski, Christiansburg, the whole network, they sent everything in, and I got about half of what they sent, because what was happening is the employees were poaching off my order. They're like, oh man, we didn't realize it was that good a deal. So a lot of people were nibbling at the order, but I got about half in what I ordered. I put up the short of that. It's still a gigantic cart full. Danny Boys that just saw the steering wheel. Club defeated. Yeah, I saw this. Yeah, exactly. You could. Probably, I don't know what the Club is made of. It looks like it's a little harder material than the steering wheel. My mom is here. James and James says shorts can get you subs quick, fast. They can. I try to encourage people to do long form video that takes its time, shows us who you are, what you're doing, but shorts can augment that. But I thought this challenge would be fun. It would help get the needle moving on the No Name 500. And it seems to be working. Junkyard D is here. Blue Grit Garage. Hot Rod Guy Garage been playing the shorts game as well. Views have blown up. Yeah. Does Nothing Special is here. Dizzy Easy. Good evening, JW and everyone. Well, hello, Dizzy. Dizzy says her received the shirts. Dizzy, you should have gotten those shirts like a month ago. When did you receive those? Because I mean, I sent them out right after you ordered them, like right after. But I will say that that part of the country, for whatever reason, I've sent stuff to Dizzy, I've sent stuff to Barkley, I've sent stuff to a few people right in that area near Sykeston, and for whatever reason, I don't hardly ever get a scanned delivery receipt on this end, and it takes a long time. And it's just that part of the country for some reason. Oh, and Barrows, where Barrows is in Idaho, that area up there is the same way. I can send stuff to almost any other part of the country, no problem. But those two places seem like it just falls in a hole. Got them on Tuesday. My gosh. I'm trying to think what they even mailed those. Dizzy, what is that, 2 or 3 weeks to get there? That's crazy. James and James looks like he'll be live right after me. He and BB402, Stephen. Well, that's cool. Heavens Mopar Scott. Blue Grit Garage says, I had a video that got 130 views in 3 weeks. Took 60 seconds from the same video and got over 500 views in a day. Yeah, exactly. And that's because when people haven't heard of you, those short videos do so much better. I'm telling you. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I wouldn't try 60, though. I would try to do 58 or 9 to make sure that it picks it up as a short. If it goes 1 minute or longer, it's no longer a short. Dizzy gave Barkley one. Well, actually, Dizzy, I gave Barkley a staff shirt. He has a collared staff shirt for Notre Dame Nationals. But that's very cool of you. Lunar's here. What's going on, man? Thanks for popping in. New Guys Guitar said there were tornadoes about a mile from my house yesterday. Yeah, we don't have a problem with that here. Quite mountainous. But I'm glad that you're not getting caught up in them. Indirect Connection Jason is here. Dizzy's wife confiscated the other. Well, that's what happens sometimes. Well, that's cool, though. Oh, man. He says it's pretty bad. Lots of houses and trailers messed up. Yeah. Ooh, yikes. I know they can do an enormous amount of damage. Glad you're okay. At some point tonight, I'm hoping Lars can give me an update because he had these tabulated, and I thought I had I had screenshotted the No Name 500 totals before we announced this, but he had done it, and they are moving pretty nicely. I've gained 19 subs, 10 shorts, just fun stuff, whatever I happen to be doing. Oh, Lars, I got it done. Look at that. Lars is all over the place. Wow. That's cool, man. 8 minutes in. Wow. Well, I appreciate that. Very much so. Den of Dreams Garage hits 700 today. Yeah, right. And as soon as you get your 5 and settle into a groove with content, they just start coming, don't they? Colleen's asking Lunar, you've been gone a while. Are you coming to No Name Nationals this year? Dizzy says they had a tornado pass a mile from us on the 5th. Been cleaning up since. Yikes. I need to clean up a bunch of brush and mess, and I forget just how much I need to do, but Bad thing about summer is it's not tree trimming season. Good thing about summer is it's a nicer day to work outside and get rid of your brush. And in the summer, when you get rid of it, because it's leafier and greener and all that stuff, you feel like you're getting more done. KJ Kylie says Friday already. Geez, yeah, it's Friday already. And not only is it Friday, it's 96 days and 3 hours and 49 minutes until the third annual AHRA No Name Nationals. How about that? Dizzy said that he lost one side of a 70-foot pine tree. That's weird. And then I wonder, too, since pines don't have very deep roots with all the weight on the one side, I wonder if that's going to make it want to uproot. I don't know the answer to that. I've got a friend that does trees, and he pops in here. He can. Rob's Rods and Street Cars. How's it going, Rob? Levi says 82 days with no testing or 60 with a couple test sessions. Man, time is running out. Time isn't running any faster. It's just a lot of people doesn't get their attention until that number drops to 2 digits. And then what happens is it just turns into next year. That's what happens. So very roughly, at a guess, it's about 460 days, roughly, very roughly, and that's just very, very approximate until next year. But again, next year may never happen. This year may never happen. We never know what's going to happen. Levi says, I'm prepaid. I think you mean prepared for even 2 weeks before No Name Nationals. Perhaps. Blue Grit says, my only day to catch up on the Maverick is Sunday, and the forecast is 99 degrees, 105 heat index. Looking forward to it. I would. I love it hot like that. The James and James Show must be entertaining, changing the name of his channel. Has anyone changed the name of their channel, and how did it go? Good, bad, or indifferent? Well, James and James Rich 220 changed the name of his channel literally about 5 times in the last year. And it didn't seem like it mattered there at all, but that's probably not a good example. I don't know that it really hurts you that much from the ones I've seen who have done it. I know one thing. I like the name James and James Show better than I do all of these other that all try to look the same. Levi said, I'll make it no problem. Making it with a car that can win might be pushing it. Well, there we go. Time doesn't change. It just gets shorter. It just gets closer to the event. Oh, Levi said no. He meant prepaid for an event 2 weeks before No Name Nationals. Okay. Here we go. Secretary. Look at that. Man. Okay, so we launched this contest on the 4th of June on a Tuesday night, and Lars says, Buff Del Campo's gained 23 subs. Indirect Connection has gained 37 subs. Riley's Junkyard and Petting Zoo's gained 64 subs. Engine Light Garage has gained 44 subs. Max Wage Dick Dastardly's gained 6. Blue Grit's gained 25. Scarlet's gained 1. Not sure how many Big Bad Jones has gained. He's at 408. Big Bad Jones has actually gained a bunch, but he didn't register for the No Name 500 until after that announcement. So he wasn't in Lars first, but he's actually gained a bunch. I think he was at 360 something on that Tuesday, and he registered right after, and he's at 408. So he's gained, probably right up there with almost the most of these. Bean Street Mopar is not on that list. I know he's gained a few. Yep, see, there we go. I did not forget you, Ken. 17. There we go. See, Lars is all over it. Nothing gets by Lars. You know that. Wow. New Guy's Guitar said the big storm chasers from YouTube were up here cruising around and hail broke their windshield. Oh, man. How about RT211? RT211 has gained a lot of subs. However, he had made his 500 long before we announced this. So I wasn't keeping track of any gain, and I don't think he's doing the shorts challenge per se. He's just continuing to make his content. And speaking of RT211, he had great results with his getting his dynamic torque converter rebuilt by Mike Ivan, who hangs out here quite often, the torque converter whisperer, Mike Ivan top line converter. So shout out to him. But no, RT211 is not in that particular list. All right, let's see. Shop 209, what's going on? Thumper's doing the shorts per day. He's got 16 subs so far. Yep, right on. Thumper's got some pretty cool stuff going on over there. You might want to check in on him. Kim Fixes Things says time dilation is a real thing, and it happens as we get more focused on a time-dependent goal. Yeah, it does. And the best remedy is just to start as early as you can, so you'll have more options, more time to use, more room for error. It allows you to approach your goals. You know, it's the thing is a lot of times if we have a certain amount of time, we can get it done. If we have this much time, that much time, that much time, that much time. But the less time we have, the fewer options we have as to how. And we might have less control over the process. We might not get as good a results as we want getting there. We might have to make more sacrifices getting there. And we might not be able to do it. And there's less room for error. There's less room for, something coming up, in between. So we don't always get all the time we would like, but the best thing we can do is use all of the time we have. The great example of that is the one-eyed cat, Don English. Don said, I'm going to start slowly and steadily, but every day making progress after the first annual No Name Nationals. And he did. And so by doing that little bit each day and not taking time off, Don got all of his stuff done and got there. And he's a good example for time management. I think one of the most impressive examples of time management in this community, it has to be the Nelsons. It's just unbelievable the amount of work that those guys get done. And it's because and when you watch them work, they don't look like they're working in a hurry per se. They're not rushing around or anything. It's just that they stay after it and keep going out. And if you have a little bit of time, use a little bit of time, and just keep doing it, keep staying after it. And that's how they do it. And Don did it that way. They never looked like they were in a frantic, pace, but it's just that little bit of time and got on it early. Dizzy met Ross at Skelton, posted shorts for him. Yeah. Cool car, cool guy. Looking forward to meeting him in person. Junkyard D is up 25. Or is that Ross? I just see plus 25 there. B&R is here. Look out. Dizzy says, didn't get that 440 short block. Not as represented, let's say. Okay, imagine that. Slow and steady wins the race. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. The Nelsons are doing 6 summer and getting lots of time on 1320. Yeah, they are they're a study in time management. James says, I do my best under pressure. Yeah, that's great. Just use all the time you have so you can do really magical things under pressure. But James and James, they did their campaign for about a week's time, but hard work and original stuff, and did it really right. Shop 209 says, I leave in a week for Rocky Mountain Race Week, and for once the car isn't torn apart. Weird. Thumper says, I'm a study in crippled fat guy persistence. Just a little bit every day, and eventually it'll get there. It will. But I've said for a long time that most of the people who can do this and get it all together in 9 months could probably get it together in 9 weeks. And most of the people who can't do it in 9 months couldn't do it in 9 years. And that's just, it's proven to be right. BNR says, I found and bought the unobtainable for Jeff at Two Hacks Garage. A vintage Hilborn PG 150 cam spud drive fuel pump. That's one of those bizarre fuel pumps. Yeah, it runs on the cam. Yeah, he's I know he's been having a lot of trouble getting that dialed in. But I told him, I said, look on the bright side. You've been cruising all the way to this point. It's not like you had everything fighting you. So I said, you know, not bad to get this far before you really had a hang up. Colleen wants to know what the entry fee is for Rocky Mountain Race Week. LNA Auto Works is here. What's going on, sir? And I noticed he's talking about that Mustang. I saw the thumbnail for it, I believe, on Hot Rod Guy Garage's channel. You had a Mustang with rust under the Bondo, right? I want to go see that, but sometimes I save those videos to the end of the day, and that's one I wanted to watch. That looks pretty wild. There's Riley's Junkyard and Petting Zoo. Shop 209 says the Rocky Mountain Race Week entry fee is $475. Well, if that means I should raise up the No Name Nationals to $474, don't worry, I won't do that. BNR says, went to Plan B, keeping that ultra rare Hilborn so we can go back to Plan A. I want Plan A, Hilborn injection of my Vertex Magneto. Yeah, those things do. Dizzy says Jeff Rowe has unobtainium. Jeff's a superhero. Jeff is interesting. He, my gosh, that guy never stops. He has an inhuman amount of energy. But he's been kind of quiet the last week, which is unusual for Jeff, which tells me he is working really, really, really hard. Yeah, Hot Rod Guy Garage says it's been a train wreck. It's been a whole series. Yeah, I want to check in on that. Rust under the Bondo. That just sounds great to me. Junkyard D's getting the 65 Mustang shined up for a car show tomorrow. Cool. Well, Thumper, get it running for No Name Nationals and take it there too. Riley says going to get a short video out about the new Monte Carlo, but I haven't had much to film because it's been the same stuff at the Skylark. Yeah. BNR stressed out. Copy. Jeff is an alien? Maybe. 209 is going to do a video every day of Rocky Mountain Race Week. Cool. Yeah, I don't know when my short. I guess tomorrow it'll be the tire repair on the van. I got a slow leaking one of the tires, and I had one of those big staples like you hammer in. It looks like a nail, but it's got a point on each end that makes a U. It's just like a giant staple that you tap in with a hammer. And I ran over that, and of course it went in at an angle. And one of them went into the tire, and the other went way deep in the tread, but it wasn't leaking. It's one of those like, man, I hate to create a new leak, but it didn't go all the way through. So I plugged the side that was leaking. And then after a few days, like, oh, no, now, so I bet the other one is leaking too. So what that would mean is, if it does, I would wind up having two plugs like that close to each other. So, I don't know. I might plug it anyway. I might plug it anyway, or I might take the tire off and patch it. I can do either one. So. Data Dream says Shorts brought me up 137 subscribers in the last few days. Surprised how many views a simple question got. Would you run a quadrojet in 2024? Yeah, I've actually tried to have a question in the title of most of my shorts for that reason. People like questions. Thumper's taking the 68 and CUDA to a car show tomorrow. Should have some video from that. Well, that sounds exciting. Yeah, I just said I'm going to do this with you guys, and I'll just do shorts of just whatever I have. I guess tomorrow will be a tire repair. I've got to move some filing cabinets from the garage, and I'm debating. I'm trying to decide if I want to where I want to put them. That's interesting. Shop 209 says community post. I picked up a bunch of subs from polls and other community posts. That's interesting. I never even thought about the subs that you would get off of that. Dizzy Izzy's got an insurance adjuster coming out on the 19th to look at my roof and my truck. Ooh. You know what I really don't like that happens is you do have people with big hailstorms and they do get a lot of damage. But what I see is there's a lot of people, and I mean when there's no storms happening or anything, you'll have these guys going around from these fly-by-night roofing companies, and they're trying to leave a door hanger, on every door saying, oh, hey, I think I spotted damage on your roof. And it's such a scam. And those guys doing that, they wind up depleting the money and raising the premiums on everybody. And then when people do have storms and they do need to make that claim, that's just not fair. But I see a lot of that. Thumper says, I used to get subs from the comments, but now YouTube removes and hides my comments on channels that are not friends of mine. Okay. Colleen is suggesting to Dizzy, don't sign anything without a lawyer. Well, insurance companies are not your friends. And that insurance adjuster is not coming out there to get your life in order. They're coming out there to find out how little liability they have in it and if they can deny a claim or not. Insurance itself is largely a scam. James and James says, one of my best shorts got me over 250 subs off one single short. I think the record that I've heard of personally is Lars. Lars, if you're listening, what was your record off of one short? I don't want to get it wrong. LNA is suggesting I fight them daily. Talk about insurance adjusters and stand your ground. Don't say something they don't ask for. Good point. Don't answer questions not asked. Lars has gotten around 5,000 subscribers from one short. Pretty wild. Blue Collar Performance says, I'll say that I'm extremely grateful for good health insurance right now. Indeed. I have my health insurances through Get Better or Die Mutual. And here's the thing, Dented Dreams Garage. It's not like Lars knew what was going to get him a short that got 5,000 subs. You put these things up, and then occasionally the algorithm runs wild with them. Number says, like I learned in the military, do not volunteer information. 209 has federal health insurance. Yeah. Can I borrow that short? No, but you can do what Lars did and make shorts and see what happens. Because Bluegrass, you've got good content, but again, that last video you put up was 6 minutes. If that video was 1 minute or 2 minutes, it would have a whole lot more views and more people would get a sample. Think about like this. Commercials are never but like 15 or 30 seconds, right? There's a reason for that. It's like a billboard. You're just taking a short amount of people's time to make an impression, to make them want to see more. And your videos, when you're starting out, that's what they are. They're a commercial for you. Yeah, but 209, the thing is the purpose for this is just a challenge. It's to get people used to making content and see if content creation is for them and get their 500 subscribers to participate in the No Name Nationals. That's what it is. So we're trying not to roll too much into this. We're not trying to roll watch time, monetization, any of that stuff into it. And all this is valid stuff. It's beyond the scope of this particular challenge. And when they get to be a more established channel like Shop 209, that's when you start thinking about these kind of things. See, Mexican Spec says he's got his subscribers. Now he wants to go to long form. Totally valid. Danny Boyd says he worked on the truck all day on the pasture side. Someone broke into the neighbor's VW T1 without setting off the alarm. Oh, you have no idea how much I would not own one of those things. I mean, for anything. Kim Fixes Things says shorts have increased my watch time greatly this week. Bring people to the channel and more overall views. Yeah, I mean, so Kim from Tall Garage says shorts are like memes. That's valid. I think they're great to supplement your long form content. Bad Tree Blake is here from a couch somewhere in Iowa. Heathens Unite. Well, cool, man. Thanks for joining us. We're checking in on the progress of the No Name 500 guys who were challenged to do 30 shorts between the 5th of June and the 4th of July. And so we're at the 1/3 point, and the shorts I have done really well. So I'm curious how these guys are doing with them. They've gained a lot of subs off of them. So it's been a worthwhile exercise. Almost everybody's participating in it. I'm going to run over here to my studio and see what the one I did. It had 1,000 views in the first hour. Let's see what it's doing. The one with the club, 1980s theft deterrent, 2,100 views in 2 hours and 4 minutes. So there we go. It's getting over 1,000 views an hour. Blake, the club came out the year you were born. So I told him if people remember the club TV commercials, they're old. Jack Stands and Cinder Block is here. Rapid Transit J. Wow. Danny Boyd set off a car alarm. Okay. Mexican Spec says it's a Volkswagen. Yeah, but it's a modern Volkswagen. So to me, that's a big distinction. I love the old air-cooled VWs and have less than zero interest in the modern stuff. Dizzy says it's a plus having a group of car nuts to converse with the No Name Nationals, which is true. Club was a better weapon than anti-theft. Oh, I agree. The anti-theft is just people just want it to go away. They're like, if you're stealing that car, hurry up. I'm tired of hearing it. Blue collar performances often say people want to watch you do either what they can't do or won't true. That is very true. That is very true. What I don't like, though, are the people that want to watch what they can't do or won't do and then tear you down for doing it when they won't do it. There's a real small group of that, and that's just the worst. Blue Grit Garage says, I've gotten a bunch of views of Anna's dog eating breakfast. Modern Volkswagens are the most over-engineered stuff I've ever seen. I would not own one for anything. Battery Blakes has got 8,000 views on an 8-second video of a rust hole. There you go. Yep. Sounds right. Part of the game, YouTube requires thick skin. Oh, I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm just saying, to me, that's interesting. They want to tear you down for doing what they should be saying. Hey, I'm glad somebody's doing that because I sure never will. I mean, it's like, wow. It's kind of like defeating the purpose. DNR says, I think I gained 40 subs this week. That 10-second short of Jeff's rail attempting to light off. Yeah, oh yeah. Mexican Spec says, I don't get many trolls. I'm looking forward to it. Go help Rich get his car running. They'll get you plenty. Andy Wood is here. How's it going, sir? Andy Wood, you've got 96 days and 3 hours and 22 minutes to have the Casper-Matic functional and get to Sykeston. We're looking forward to that. You got your converter in yet? Blake says it's like being at the player haters ball. I hate your guts. Fab Race Mod repeats says hello from Northeast Dragway. Well, hello, sir. How's it going? Andy says time is running out. Indeed it is. The clock and the calendar wait for no one. Clayton's Toolbox is here. When I see that Clayton's Toolbox, it reminds me of Bad Tree because they're in Clayton County, and there's that Clayton County historical or Clayton County History Hound account. It's one of their buddies, and so when I see Clayton's Toolbox, I always think of that. Jack Stan's Cinder Block said, I had some Russian comment that I drove the Super into the woods, left it there for 2 weeks, and then cut it back out. Okay. Andy says the converter should be here this coming week, and Casper is getting some much needed love. Well, that's cool. BNR is getting his first Saturday off in 8 months. Wow. Mexican Spec said less than 100 days left. Where did 2/3 of the year go? Gone. Blake says he needs a BTP sticker. Well, I'm always flying the colors. And this. Yeah, we know it's a troll. It's still kind of funny, though. The thing that gets me, I get a chuckle out of, is that a lot of these guys who are trolls are like older, middle-aged men. I just think that's just the most pitiful thing. That is the most pitiful thing. It's like nothing says they absolutely failed at everything they wanted to do in life, and now they have decided to do that. It's sad. It's pretty sad. Auto Salvage Outlaw spent 4 months in and out of the hospital. Old McDonald says, I need a BTP hat. Well, Blake says, me too. Bigfoot Mark in here? Yeah, there he is. How's it going, sir? Enjoying watching the progress on that Belvedere. A Belvedere's got to look really good, man, because to sell a car as pretty as that Jack Pine Savage, you know, oh, I couldn't sell a car that pretty, especially not having another one that pretty. So, man, you got a lot of faith in how that car is going to look when it's done. Blue Grit says plan B is to get the Autocross Mustang to pass Tech if I hit a snag with the Maverick. Right on. Blue Grit, make some content, man. You got time, but it's moving. At least Cabral isn't here. Cabral won't be here. He won't be here. Middle-aged, 36 years old in the USA. I think it's up a little bit. It used to be 72 as average lifespan. I think it's a buzz higher than that now. But I know that our average viewer demographic pretty consistently in this whole cross section of YouTube, entire section of YouTube, is 45 to 65-year-old male. Auto Salvage Outlaw says, true friends come to your rescue when you're down and can't thank enough to all of you guys. Well, glad you're still hanging in here with us. Blue Grit says, I thought it was 63. Maybe it is. If you're Jean Kilmet of France, it was middle age for her was 61. Fab Race Mod repeats, getting ready for tomorrow's points race. Andy says, if you get a troll, it means you're doing something right. Junkyard D says, tried reverse psychology on his short with don't watch in the title and it backfired. He got 14 views. Wow. That's pretty good. DNR bought a big fancy oil pan. Okay. Right on. Make a good install video on that and tag Rich. I think he's getting ready to take his oil pan off for the 85th time here pretty soon. Good point. Mexican Spec says, Junkyard D, go back and change the title and see what happens. Yeah, you can always do that. I've seen wonderful results just by changing the title and nothing else. Without taking the video down or anything like that, just changing the title. MSB Custom Car says, I had a kid call the Dart a boomermobile because it doesn't have AC and I can't drive it in the rain. A boomermobile. What does he drive? Boomermobile. That's an eBay Turbo Kid, right? Yeah. You know what's funny is I forgot about Rich probably for a month, and then something will pop up in my feed, and he's back at it. Man, I feel for him. He's like, now he's He changes every day. One day he's defeated, and the next day he's like going for it. I'm like, man, I don't know how many more years he can do that. Old heads. Yep. NSB says, if I had to guess, he drives a 2011 Honda Civic. That VTEC Life, I do know the VTEC Life. Yeah, I have one. Great little engines. JB's little shop is here. What's going on, man? Dougster Wolverine Garage is here. How's it going, sir? Dougster, we're looking forward to seeing you do the install on the CRT shiftback, by the way. And he says he's got to run because he's working on seat mounts for the truck. Cool. Yeah, man, we want to see that install. I actually had a guy leave a comment today saying that he wanted to know what kind of job it is to put a valve body in. He's never done it before. And I encouraged him to watch that video. So when you do your shift kit install, I can send him that link too. Blake saw an 8.5-second Honda lawnmower at 6 Summer. All-wheel drive and electric start. Okay. KJ Kylie says, I have an Ed Hamburger oil pan on my 340. Whatever happened to him? Boy, that's going way back there. Let me guess. It's like a gigantic box with no windage controls and no ground clearance, right? Oh, and the drag link goes right through the middle of it, right? Blue Grit says, so far all the replies were friendly and helpful. I guess I'm doing it wrong. I have 3 major mistakes so far. Only one was called out. Most people don't pay nearly as much attention as you do to the technical stuff like that. JB is doing a video on traction bars and wheels. Video out soon. Cool. Have you made any custom headers before? Any tips? I have. Well, man, I kind of did once. Not really. I took a set of old $59 blackjack headers in the 90s. And when I was a teenager, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to game this thing and I'm going to make these easier to put on. And so I took these headers and cut and welded the sleeves and all this. And I made a 7-piece set of headers that would go on the car without taking anything apart. And they worked and they fit. Man, did they leak. So you don't want custom header advice from me. Probably the best place if you're looking at custom headers is go over to Nivlac 57, the Nelson's channel. That's where I would look. Unfinished Project is doing a roll bar. Unfinished Project, would you like for me to show them the roll bar? Jack Stains the Cinder Blocks said he did a video about the elk and critters at Yellowstone. Do one on the grizzly bears next. Yeah, so it's always good to mix in stuff like that. I think it's interesting. Does using a gutter downspout count as custom exhaust? Okay. I mean, I care more about not having carbon monoxide in the car than to use stuff like that. But all right, so this is Unfinished Project's Facebook Marketplace score. All right. I guess he wants his W350 to have that Simon and Simon look going. Kind of like a rugged version of the Fall Guy. Power wagon. Yeah, well, Power Ram. His is a little new for that, but it is a newer version of the Power Wagon. Mexican Spec wants to know if that's for a truck or a Jeep. Nice light bar too. Yeah, it's interesting looking. Jason's Garage is here. Ryan Barsness says, I'm late. Okay. I mean, we're not punching your time clock here. Appreciate you coming by. Doesn't look very wide. I don't know. I don't have anything to give it any scale in that picture, but I'm looking forward to seeing it in his truck on the channel. That's a full roll cage for JB's truck. Maybe an exoskeleton. Those S10s are pretty small, those first generation ones especially. Jason did some nice headers for his Mustang a long time ago. There we go. That's who wants to help you. Jason's Garage. He wants to do those custom headers. What do you normally get for doing a set of custom headers, Jason? About $100 plus materials? JB says, I don't need a roll cage. I have no intention of driving upside down. I don't think anybody who's ever used a roll cage had any intention of driving upside down. Yeah, Jason's like, yeah, okay. He's all about that. Now Auto Salvage says, I'm hoping to get my T-Bird done before No Name Nationals. Okay, that will be exciting. Mohawk says he's feeling great now. A few more days of pain meds. Well, cool, man. Glad you're on the mend. Blue Collar says a roll cage is like a firearm. You don't need it till you need it. But then you need it bad. When you need a firearm, you will need it worse than anything you've ever needed in your life. And you will either already have it or you will not have it. If you didn't already have it before you needed it, you can't get it when it's too late. Same as a fire extinguisher, same as a roll cage. Cage, that's like fuel injection. Unless you're driving upside down, there's no reason. Jason says, my S10 has a roll bar in it finally. Can spectators join the burnout competition for the No Name Nationals? You can stand by the barriers just like the rest of us. Unfinished projects in. Oh, look at this. He's got it mocked up already. Look at this. I don't know if I can get rid of that light or not to do this. There you go. You going to put more lights or move the lights on the top? They look kind of weird up there, those two. Or Hippie Miller, you can participate with 500 subs. It's the way that people come into the community is, and you can definitely do it. We've had a lot of people do it with 97 days to go. Old MacDonald said, if you can't find a firearm fast enough, a firearm may find you. There's no reason to find one. You should have one in your holster on your side. There's Jeremy Finley. Jeremy Finley, there is a video that is up on YouTube. There's a channel. I'll give it a shout out right now called Tour Angie. And she's from Bluefield and moved away, but comes back and does driving videos of Bluefield and all these areas. And the video she posted today was of Lake Shawnee, West Virginia. I thought that was cool. Anyway. So anyway, Jeremy, we need to make a field trip there. Do some content on the old mud bogging pit there. Blue Grit Garage says a fun fact from the Museum of Transport: a Russian Trabant engine can run even if the car's on its roof. Well, any engine can run if the car's on its roof for a short time. Bad Tree says he's switching the gear and rims out of Death Lemon. I don't know what that is. And sticking it in the stone axe that is the Nacho Cuda. Okay. Jeremy said I was there yesterday talking to the owner. Cool. Pure Pontiac Garage is here. What's going on? Thumper says it's a two-stroke. Well, that makes a lot more sense. He's got all kinds of history about the mud bogging. Okay, we need to do that. We need to set that up, make that happen. What would be the best time for you? You pick it. The only time I'm tied down is on a Friday evening. I need to be where I can set up for my live. Other than that, you call it. We'll do it. Dougster wants to know if a limited slip from a 9.25 late model Ram fit in an older 9 1/4 housing. Actually, while I think it would, I would go the other way around, because those late model ones in those Rams have these little hardened cups in them that are designed to keep, trying to go from memory here. I think they're trying to keep the pins from chewing into that cast iron on the carrier. And what happens is they get jarred enough, they come loose and they start just chewing into the housing. And I know this because I've seen it happen on a few of them. And my recommendation to you is don't use those things. They're a bad design. They're in junkyards everywhere. They're plentiful. They're cheap. But those hardened little cups will come loose and they just start chewing the housing to pieces. Jeremy says anytime for, okay, yeah, this sounds good. This sounds good. This would be great. This would be some good content for you guys. I probably saved you some hassle, Dougster. Enough hard burnouts and those things will come loose and they're just, I've got some pictures somewhere. I had to find them, but I broke one in Dakota one time and it was ugly. I kept hearing this grinding noise coming from the rear, and I'm like, what in the world is that? It sounds just like when, when you have a brake pad, you have a backing plate on a brake pad, hit a rotor, it's that grinding sound. But that wasn't what it was, and I kept looking for it, and I finally like, okay, so something's coming from the rear end. I took the cover off, and then I saw it, and it had chewed into the housing on the inside of the cap, and where it's spinning around on the carrier, things like a saw blade. It had just chewed and chewed. Oh, I bet it chewed, that deep. I bet it chewed a 1/4 inch or more deep into the housing. Jeremy said they race at Princeton every other Saturday. Oh, that's cool. Maybe we can double up on that. Sounds like fun. BNR suggesting to look into power tracks. Yeah, that would be a much better option. I mean, I thought about doing it for the van, but that I'm just. I wish I could, off the top of my head, remember. But I just remember those they're little hardened steel cups designed to keep the pins from eating into it. And it's actually far better off without them. What worked for my truck was I just took them out because I said those pins will do far less damage than those stupid things will to the house. They'll do far less damage to the carrier than those hardened pieces on the carrier can do to the housing. So that's what I wound up doing. I don't know how else to explain. I have to find some pictures for you. Dust Devil says he's been at work and listening. Oh, cool. Glad you could join us. I'm was thinking about putting a 9 1/4 in the van because I thought I can get the gear ratio I want. It's cheap. It'll have the bolt pattern. The thing that holds me back is I can't have a sure grip unless I go to some aftermarket. By the time I do that, and as expensive as that'll be, I've got a van housing. I've got the chunk. So really, at that point, I just need to get some aftermarket axles, and then I'm in business. Because all of the 8 3/4 for the trucks and the vans, no 8 3/4 came with anything bigger than a 4.5-inch bolt pattern. So I want to have the 5-on-5 truck pattern. So to do that, it's going to take some aftermarket axles to accomplish that. So I guess I'll do those with a green bearing, the van housing, 391 gear, and that'll be really nice. Dust Devil has been CNCing tonight. Then a Dream says mosquitoes are terrible tonight, or I just tastier than normal. So last night, we're sitting on the deck at my aunt's house, and I see Jethro trying to catch what I thought was a bee. And that's pretty normal for him. He'll catch bees in midair and eat them. And he is going after this thing, And I saw it was a hornet. I grabbed his harness and pulled it. He was going after those things. He was not conceding that fight. And I got stung in the arm. I'm pulling him back. He wanted after those things. He must have gotten stung 5 times, but he wasn't going to give up that fight for anything. How many gallons of oil they end up with? I don't know, Dougster. I haven't inventoried it. I got about 55% of what we tried to get an order. So. Just a second. For those who haven't seen that short, I went to O'Reilly and cleaned them out of the closeout on Max Life 1040. Every quart we could get this whole region. And so this is about 55% I added up of what I was supposed to get. And that was still about $350, something like that. But I don't know how much yet. I have to add it up, Dougster, because I got a lot of single quarts in there and a lot of 5-quart jugs. Yeah, those hornets went after him, but he showed him what time it was. He's okay. He must have gotten stung about 4 or 5 times, but he's okay. Glad I got him off that porch. He wasn't about to give up. Yeah, see, I don't know what they're called, Chris, but exactly. Those pins make a mess. They break that little hardened steel piece out, and then it's just starts destroying the housing. I don't know what you call it. It's a terrible design, though. And the sad thing is other than that, they work great. I actually think that the sure grip units they put in those were better. They seem to be more durable. The clutches do and everything. They turn really smooth. They lock up good. They last. All of that's great. I think they're better than the 8 3/4, except for that's a real serious problem that those hardened pieces can break and come out of them. Dougster says money well spent. I agree. I mean, that price was hard to beat. Those single quarts were $287. So I'll take it. They were also getting rid of some of the full synthetic Valvoline. It's just what people don't buy. So if you can get it, get it. What I thought was terrible is that the reason only a little over half came in of what I ordered, or the employees at all these various stores were poaching off of my order. They'll be like, you'll call and they'll tell them, hey, we're looking for these, jugs of Max Life, and they'll order them in. And the employee goes, oh, wait a minute. I had no idea this stuff was less than half price. Oh, we don't have any. So there's plenty of that. That's okay. Totally fine. I am very happy to get a good deal like that on something I use anyway. At least Jethro isn't allergic. We had a pup eat a bee, or I guess eat a bee, and swell up. No, Jethro got a couple little swollen knots on him, and they're already gone today. He fared better than me. I got one right in the arm right there. It's swole up pretty good, and it's already gone. It's not too bad. I do really like the Valvoline Max Life transmission fluid. Uh, I have seen it completely cure a torque converter shutter before. Dougster says, I pay close attention to big sales on soda and buy a large quantity. I'm averaging 46 cents a can. It's funny you say that because I know somebody, and I'm not going to out him. He does the same thing, but he'll get these quantities of soft drinks and they go bad. Those they don't last. A few months is about all you get. Expiration date on this Dr. Pepper I was drinking just now is June 17th of 24. So I had that one a while. That's it. There's only so much you can get. That's pretty hardcore. We're talking about a barrel valve. You're working on something interesting if you have that. Den of Dreams is recording an electric fuel pump install. That'll be cool. That's in 3 days. Doesn't matter. It's empty. But whatever else out of that batch is also going to be that date too. That's all right. It wasn't flat. Dougster says it's nothing to buy 12, 24 packs. Mommy M3 says, stop drinking soda. Colleen, stop smoking cigarettes. Buff Del Campo says, diet drinks expire quickly. Keep them cold. They last a long time. Well, that's a hot tip. Of course, I generally do. Dust Devil Garage says, I'm the OG DDG. Yes, you are. Yeah, I can't think of any DDG that goes back farther than Dust Devil Garage. He is further back than Dead Dodge Garage. He is further back than Den of Dreams Garage. He's further back than, Any other DDG I can think of. Yeah, he is. There were only 2 people who were live streaming when I started my Friday night show, and Dust Devil Garage was one of them. Auto Salvage Outlaws has the right answer. Water, water, and more water. He is correct. Soda's worse than cigarettes. Yeah, there's nothing medically to suggest that's true, but I'm sure there's some people who will rapidly talk about the one study in 100 that, for every one study that tells you that you're going to die from drinking soda tomorrow, there's 1,000 about cigarettes and history. So DGG is older than dirt. Well, he's older than me. Brian's got, I think, 4 years on me. Thumper says, I've been carbonating water. Got a thing to make it. That's cool. I've seen those soda stream things that do that. I think that's pretty neat. Dougster says, I do drink more soda than I should. Yeah, me too. However, I've almost completely cut out fast food. Oh, that's outstanding. Levi says, everything is bad for you. Yep, that's true. I mean, everything. Yeah, everything. We everything we eat and drink and breathe and everything is just pure toxic pollution out there. And then we come up with all this innovation in drugs and stuff to try to counter that and keep people living longer with all the ailments. It's a huge vicious cycle. I just don't think we can truly get around it, not living in this modern time that we're in. Clayton says there's that 103-year-old lady online who drinks Dr. Pepper every day for something like 50 years. Yeah, I mean, there's always these weird. Jean Calmette of France lived to be 122, and she was smoking cigarettes, when she was in her 110s. But again, she is definitely an exception. I had a friend die of 40 from esophageal cancer, and he smoked since he was a teenager. And there's, for every one person that was smoking over 100 years old, there are millions who died, and definitely smoking contributed to their early death. So you can always skew it with however you want. It's just the way it is. Thumper said it's very rare I eat fast food. I got to tell you, there's not much fast food that just, it's just not, yeah. Dust Devil says, I remember before microwave ovens. My my dad's parents had a microwave much earlier than most people, and it was this giant box of a machine. I remember that was kind of funny. We didn't have a microwave till far after that. Preppers on YouTube have moved to being farmers, grow your own food. Mountain Dew with brominated vegetable oil is van in the UK. It's okay in the US. Well, did you know that in Canada, well, in the US, radon in your home cannot be over 4 picocuries per liter before the EPA says you should remedy it. They're wanting to move to a standard of 2.7. Meanwhile, in Canada, it's 20. If that doesn't say it's completely arbitrary, nothing does. Yeah, and the 4th oldest man who ever lived He was a smoker until over 100 years old. Oh, I mean, some people do. Most don't, though. So those exceptions get all the press. Eat carrot shavings. You'll live forever. Just won't want to. Dean Stevens, yeah, the Greenland shark. Yep, was born in 1627. That's right. We do have the Greenland shark. We've got them that are 400 years old and still swimming in the ocean. That is true. They usually go blind, though, because of parasites in their eyes. However, they can hunt after they go blind. Talk about an amazing animal. That shark spends centuries blind and hunts blind and survives. It's just amazing. In freezing waters. What a life, though. And I'd imagine it has serious halitosis. Good point. Yeah, so if you want some interest, so I try to read about a half hour every night about just some kind of random thing. And so one night, I don't know when, probably years and years and years ago, I got on somehow the Greenland shark because they live to be over 400 years old that they know of, confirmed the same sharks. And so if you guys want an interesting reading topic for the day, check out the Greenland shark. It's a good one to read about. Ed Iskandarian's over 100 and still smokes cigars. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. Ed Iskandarian's, I think, it's 102. My grandfather smoked till he was about 70 and felt terrible. He quit smoking, lived to be 93, and said, gosh, if I'd have known how much better I'd have felt when I quit smoking, he said I wouldn't have retired. Blue Grit says, if soda keeps longer in the refrigerator, I guess it works on sharks also. That's good. Wow. Mohawks, this is the kind of goofy stuff you know that people in here don't try. Put Cheerios in the microwave for 5 minutes and they just disappear. No sound, smoke, or anything. They just gone. That is wild. Ed Iskandarian, the cam father. Yeah. Ed Iskandarian invented the term 3/4 cam. He invented that terrible term, but it was a marketing term. So this is something going on in Leeville. That is all. Blue collar Nate says, you know I'm trying that. Well, do a short on it. We want to see. Wendy English, Miss One-Eyed Cat is here. 6% recycled is here. ASO said I about quit smoking. Okay. Yeah. Colleen's grandfather smoked till he turned 90. Okay. Levi says, I'm back on 4 wheels. That means I'm a third of the way to being finished. Justin Hill is here. We were just talking earlier about the black hole of shipping stuff to Idaho. That and the area where Dizzy is are the two places that it seems like I hardly ever get a receipt, a scan when it's delivered. Because those two places, they take longer than anything. ASO and Mohawk are carpooling the No Name Nationals. I have no idea why that is, but it sure is like that. It's like that sending something to you, sending something to Barrows. Anything I've ever sent to that area has been like that. But I can send farther than that. I can send to the West Coast, Pacific Northwest, California, Las Vegas, Arizona, any of that area, going farther than you. Or Canada, no. Canada seems like it takes a little longer, but not much. If I send something to, you know, the eastern half of Canada, it's probably about the same, if not sooner. There's something about your area. It seems to take longer than anywhere in the U.S. There's Dakota's timeout. How's it going, sir? Dakota Mohawk said you can microwave Cheerios for 5 minutes and they'll vaporize, just disappear. And Nate wants to try it. Danny Boyd says has more to do with the sparseness of population. I suspect that it's like a real skeletal framework of delivery there. That's probably what it is. But the thing is, though, is I still don't get confirmation scans when they deliver stuff. I should still get that. Levi said, who's going to be late Thursday arrival to No Name Nationals? In other words, after Lambert's and everything. If someone needs something, we'll be late getting there. So you're going to want to tech in on a Friday, right, Levi? Blue Grid says, I thought Dizzy was close to St. Louis. Dizzy is close to St. Louis. He's between St. Louis and Sykeston in there. But I'm telling you, that area, when I send stuff to the track out there, it takes a while. And I didn't realize any of this until I got Pirate Ship, because it lets me do my labels from here. And so I can see from when they're generated, all the scan points. It's a little better than, at least it's a more convenient interface than you get just from keeping your tracking numbers from the post office, because it keeps them all in one screen. Mohawk said it might take more than 5 minutes depending on your wattage. I don't know. I always like putting CDs in the microwave. Levi said, not possible with the schedule. Okay, well, that's okay. You can tech on Friday. That's not a problem. Please have all of your oil leaks fixed before the Friday morning group photo. We don't want oil on the track. Thank you. I dig Pirate Ship. That's what I use for all the No Name Nationals fulfillment. It's good stuff. Tony Ross turned me on to that. Tony's Hot Rod Garage. He uses them. And somebody else here in town suggested them too, who does a lot of eBay fulfillment. Like that, they're good. Great thing about it too is not only do you get a discount on your shipping, but you can compare. It has instant comparison. UPS ground, USPS, which post office and ground, and FedEx, and you can just compare them all and select the one you want, print the label, boom. It's great. Oh, and if the shipping is off for some reason, um, they will just bill pirate ship instead of send your stuff back or bill your customer or whoever you're shipping to, which is really nice. Barbecue with Neil. Well, what's going on? Neil, you've got a fancy thumbnail there. What are you dressed up for? What are you dressed up for there? That's interesting. I bet there's no one else here wearing a tie in their picture. Oh, I might have times. Oh no, Dean. Dean, I think I blocked you by accident. I'll fix that. uh, sorry. Dougster, unfinished project. Let's see. Yeah, Dean, I'll fix that. Don't worry about it. In fact, let me fix that right now. That's terrible. You can do that by accident. All right. Go through my banned list full of people who are supposed to be banned. I don't see Dean. Oh no. Terrible thing about that is it might not work that way. We will fix that, Dean. Don't worry. That's a bummer. I don't think I've accidentally banned anybody off of the StreamYard side yet, so I got to make sure I know how to fix that. But anyway, sorry about that. I will make sure that we straighten that out. But I don't see it in my YouTube studio, so that could be a good or a bad thing. It's easy to tie a tie. It is. You know, there's one reason that I don't have clip-on ties in my list of things that shouldn't have been invented. Hey, unfinished project, if you can see it on the YouTube, because I have the YouTube browser closed, can you see where I accidentally booted Dean? If I did, if you could unboot him, I would appreciate that. I don't have the YouTube browser open, so I don't know if you can see that. And that was somewhere between Blue Grit and Dougster there, about 9:25 in the east. So if you have an opportunity to do that, that will be great. And if you can't, let me know. I'll make sure to fix it administratively after this. Oh, it's a 5. Okay. Okay, because that's not what it says on StreamYard. So, yeah, Dean, if you come back in 5 and post on StreamYard, we'll know you're good to go. Yeah, I know. Normally it's Dakota that gets the timeout. I know for a fact, because I've been mods on other channels where I have seen people banned by accident and tried to fix it. And I know those, well, who that happened to? Barrows. Barrows got blocked on another channel. He emailed me and said, hey, man, I'm blocked over here. Who in the world would do that? But it's because they have moderators who weren't careful and blocked him. I've always tried to be real careful. Yeah, if it's 5 minutes, I'm not worried about an unfinished project. I was concerned that it might have blocked him permanently, and on the StreamYard side, not being in my studio, I didn't know if I could fix it or not. So, yeah, Dakota, on the other hand, needs a timeout. Unfinished project, I think he's due for one. Yeah, I've accidentally timed people out. Yeah, it happens. Danny Boy's done lots of timeout. I can believe that. I'm pretty sure I've timed you out a few times, Danny Boyd. I got to tell you, this crowd in here on Fridays is the best. So little problem over here ever. Dougster wants to know if David Allen Coe will suddenly appear. Well, I hope so. Clock somebody with a mop bucket here. Oh, there's Dakota's time in. Out with the old Robert E. Lee is his thumbnail there. I believe he lived to be 69 years old, I want to say. Born in about 1809, died in 1870. And because the woke movement was coming through, they decided to take his name off of the school Washington and Lee, which I think is unforgivable, considering what that guy did for the state of Virginia. Turned down commanding the Union Army to protect his home state. My gosh. And they take his name off of Washington and Lee. When is the Tech Talk? Can be whenever. I know Dallas and Shane have been running every Wednesday. Dakota's only 10 seconds. Yeah, he has his inroad around it. Dean is back. Okay, good. Good. Because let me tell you, it says banned on the StreamYard screen, and I was concerned that it was trying to make it permanent. Levi says, anyone be interested in a free entry giveaway for a Summoner Jegs gift card or Flow Racing subscription? It's going to put a sub number on it, like 2,000, maybe 3 gifts. Okay, so if you're doing a contest, let us know what it is. Barbecue with Neil. Barbecue with Neil. So tell us about Barbecue with Neil. What is the deal with the name? I'm curious about that. That is interesting to me. I like barbecue. No self-respecting Southerner does not like barbecue. With Deke. So you're talking about passing tech. Okay, that's a different deal. I try to do 2 a year. We've already done the first one. And the second one I try to do, a little later in the summer, usually around August. But if you have specific tech questions, you can always email them to me, john@PrincetonDragway.com, and I will get them to Deke. I will put my email in here. And I will get Deke any tech questions, especially with pictures, is helpful. People send me pictures of tech questions. It's very helpful. Also, go back and watch the live stream that I did with Deke a couple months ago, and that will help answer questions. Oh, cool. Barbecue with Neil says, I have a smoker and have made videos on YouTube. That's my YouTube. Well, right on. Can somebody put up the link to Barbecue with Neil? And I like that you said I have a smoker and have made videos. See, people from up north think barbecue is a cookout, and it is not. So the fact that you said I have a smoker means that you actually know a barbecue, which is good. I want to see that channel now. I've never used a smoker before. You're also in Ohio. Cool. So here's the link. I'm going to check it out. If you haven't seen if you guys know who Rhett and Link are, a couple of North Carolinians that have been YouTubers for a very long time. They did a song, oh gosh, probably 15 years ago or so, called the Barbecue Song. And it tells you everything you need to know. It's like the primer for what barbecue is. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Put hot dogs in the grill and call it a barbecue. We're having a bar. Exactly. See, Dakota's from Georgia. He's I can't even grasp that. Oh yeah, there's people that love barbecue everywhere, but there's a lot of people, especially up north, that have no idea what it is. It's not they don't like it; they eat it. Oh, this is delicious, but they don't know that that's what barbecue is. They think barbecue's a cookout. And here is the link to the Barbecue Song by Rhett and Link. If you haven't seen that, it's definitely worth a watch. Yes, exactly. People, they're saying they don't. It's not saying they don't like it, but they'll call it, they'll call a cookout barbecue or a grill. They'll say, "Oh, I have a barbecue," and they'll point to a grill. Barbecue is meat. It isn't anything too fancy. Cool. Doesn't have to be. Dakota wishes the South had won. I don't know. It might be a be careful what you wish for thing. We've been under occupation for a very long time now, though. No doubt about that. What about barbecue chicken? Well, see, now we're using barbecue as a verb or as an adjective. Barbecue as a noun, as a meat. So what trouble did Lars start tonight? Lars didn't start any trouble tonight, but there's still time. Chris 103 Customs is here. How's it going, sir? He's looking in and has something off the grill. What about pork barbecue steaks, or is that just a St. Louis thing? Well, at least that is a meat. It is a little different when you get out there. But yeah, that's that part of the country thing. In this part of the country, it is pulled smoked pork. Backwoods have barbecue tonight. Well, that's cool. Neil's smoker is broken, so he does short setter videos. That's all right. That's cool. Keep talking barbecue up to eat again. I might have barbecue tomorrow. We used to have a good barbecue restaurant here, and I think the owner just got too distracted doing all these other things and was trying to have people run it. It wasn't involved in the business enough, and even with good solid margins, decided to close it up. And that's a shame. But we had legit barbecue here, made by South Carolinians, pulled smoked pork on hardwood, real deal. And now we have Mission, and Mission is okay, but it's okay. Colleen's got to rest up for fun stuff to do tomorrow. Well, right on. Auto Salvage Outlaws wants to know what we're cooking up at No Name Nationals. It's interesting you say that. We're going to definitely, I would say Saturday night is going to be the night for the cooking there. And so I'm starting to work on that. And I will get back with you. So Saturday night is going to be probably a big cookout at the track. Obviously, Thursday night we're cruising to Lambert's. Friday's a late day. I mean, of course, always you can hit the track concessions, and I'm sure they'd appreciate that. But Friday is the day we have the burnout competition as soon as we get the track cold. There is some time in there where we have to set up, so there's time to eat. But Saturday is the day we have our awards, close down a little early. I think we'll do a big cookout Saturday night. Dakota says the CSA will probably rejoin the union within a few years. Well, it kind of did at the end of the bayonet anyway, didn't it? Dakota says his county in Georgia didn't rejoin until the mid-1950s. From what I understand, my great-great-grandfather walked from Appomattox at the surrender to his farm in Parisburg, Virginia, a 150-mile walk, and didn't actually sign surrender papers until much later. There was nothing instantaneous or computerized about the world then. Well, hey, thanks for coming by, Neil. I mean, this is a great community. We're a lot of fun. Come hang out with us at the No Name Nationals. We can grill with us on Saturday. We can learn some stuff from you. Mater says you can always come to the United States of Texas. When is Texas going to break up into 5 states? I know the plan is already there for it. Fab Race Modder Pete says, remember, I'm a Moser dealer. I do remember that. And I want to get with you on that. Are you coming to the No Name Nationals, Chris? Because if you are, that is going to be the perfect time to get some axles for that housing. Be the perfect time for that. I have an 8 3/4 van housing that Tony's Hot Rod Garage found me in a junkyard in Arizona, and they only made them 3 years, 72, 3, and 4. So I was really glad to find that. But there's no axles in it. Well, I can't use the axles anyway because they're 4.5 pattern, and I really want to keep the original aluminum wheels on this van because all the vans 81 and up had the truck pattern on them. So if I can just get axles with the late pattern for the 8 3/4, I'll be in business, and Chris can get those for me. He's a Moser dealer, so that would be cool. Chris has to look out for mine. Well, I understand. Well, we can still get with you. Don't worry about that. I probably would just simply bring you the housing. But if the housing is already, it's a van housing, so it's not like I'm making a truck housing work. It's perfect. It's already set up. Fab Race Mod Repeat. I look after my mom too, but bring her to the No Name Nationals, so she'll be there. You bring your mom, and my mom could hang out. My mom hangs out tent and sells T-shirts, and it's a highly entertaining day. Dougster says, now I want to try a different barbecue. Exactly. Lots of little gags in there too. Rhett and Link are really funny, really creative guys. They have done some hilarious stuff. The barbecue song is outstanding. The Taco Bell folk song is great. Red House Furniture is funny. They have a lot of stuff that's just really entertaining. There's Big Block 402 Stephen. What's going on? James and James show is here. Yeah, those guys are going to be live right after us in 17 minutes. So, yeah, I was going to say, Big Block 402 will be going live with them. So is it going to be on your channel, Stephen? Dust Devil's folks will be there. Yeah, his mom. I think Dust Devil brings the whole family. Mohawk is asking, be a good question for Neil. You cook the meat and then pour the sauce over it, or cook the meat with the sauce while it cooks? The latter would be my fault. And so it'll be on the James and James Show channel. Well, that's cool. One of the mods wants to pop up a link for the James and James Show channel. That would be great. Those guys will be live in 15 and a half minutes. And we'll wrap right on time. So there you go. Go check those guys out. We'll hand off to them. Won't miss a thing. Maybe Stephen can even tell the new folks what happens when you really go after it at the first No Name Nationals. Yeah, that's okay. You got to learn somehow. That'll be cool. It'll be fun. Lots of fun with a 481. DNR, no, they get it. No, they get the Florida State thing. They're from North Carolina. They do get it. Cody, you had to go get it. I think Dakota's afraid to make the trip to Sykeston. But he learned a lot about a nice long triple 373 gears. Dakota, you needed the 383 because you can bolt a 383 to a 46 RH and have an overdrive, have a Mopar drive train in that car. Dakota will admit it. Dakota is, I like how candid and honest Dakota is. I really appreciate that about him. Oh no, Mater. No, no, no. No, no, no. Texas has its own thing. They like the beef brisket, and that's all great, but North Carolina barbecue is legit. And what little we have here is mostly Carolina style. We get a little bit of Yankee barbecue down here too, though. Fabre Spot repeats says a Lamborghini headed toward the beach last week with a tag that says, "It's saying Roll Tide." Are they from Alabama? Big Block 402 said, "I will show the trophy for fastest truck at the No Name Nationals." Right on. Steven's partial to Memphis barbecue. I've had Memphis barbecue. It's good. It's different. Kansas City, yeah, that part of the country's got its own. Mm-hmm. It's good. It's different, though. A little different. Oh, B&R, come on. 42 RH overdrive. Oh, come on. You got stuff to do, but you need to do it. Best I had is Tennessee or Missouri. That's a little different, Jay. Have you ever had North Carolina? Like in North Carolina? Don't get North Carolina style barbecue in Pennsylvania because that's. I literally one time saw roast beef and ketchup. I saw a picture of it. Roast beef and ketchup in New York being sold as barbecue. Vinegar based, yeah. It's vinegary. It is. It's good. Yeah, and not all people are. Yeah, some places overdo it. Like, a lot of people like Lexington's. I'm not as big a fan of how Lexington does the chop. I like the longer pulled pork. See, the thing about vinegar, where Yankees like are what's called boardwalk fries. That's these really vinegary French fries. Is a 42 RH strong enough to handle a 550 big block 550 horsepower big block Chrysler? The answer is yes. But if you're going to a big block, I would do a 46 RH. '46 RH is what Cope has in Haney. And as you see Cope, and here he appears. Look at that. I read a comment. Cope was asleep the entire live, and we say 42 RH and 46 RH, and Cope appears. Just does anyone want to hear my Dizzy knock knock joke? Well, I bet Dizzy does. He's still in here. Blue Grit says one more reason not to go to New York. They probably charge a lot for counterfeit barbecue. Probably. There used to be a place, the next town. We have a big college town over here, not too far over, and they had this little barbecue place down from where I worked called Pee Wee's Barbecue or something. And I went in there one time and I said, "Man, this is awful. This place will not be here a year." The fellow I was there with, my coworker Bob, he said, I give it 6 months. It lasted 8 and it was gone. Then they had this other place called Log Cabin Barbecue, which was in University Mall. It was terrible too. It was a franchise, but it was terrible. Somewhere out up north, I said, "Man, this stuff's awful." It didn't last but a year. Probably because that's how long the release was. Neil said stuffed jalapeno pepper is really good too. Yeah. Jay said his wife has to go to a place named Merritt's in Wilmington to get slaw dogs. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of slaw dogs. My mom likes those things. I don't. 46 RH is basically a 727 with overdrive. Dakota. Dakota says knock knock. A 42 RH is an A500. And that I have a project in mind for a A500, by the way. But they put the 42 RH in Jeep Cherokees and all kinds of stuff. But it's actually an A500, and I think they came out in 89, 90, something like that. And then they went to an electronic valve body around 94-ish. Which the only thing I don't like about those later ones is they got rid of the that thread on the output shaft for doing a cable-driven speedometer. They got rid of it. See, when Chevrolet went to a Hall effect that was electronic, they left that worm-looking groove in the output shaft, so you can change it real easy. But the Chrysler didn't. They got rid of that. So you actually have to change the output shaft to transmission. A500 and an A100, yep, that'd be great. Barrows made it with 7.5 minutes to go. Hey, Barrows, on the James and James Show channel, he's going to be live with Steven, Big Block 402. Yeah, 42 RERH, yep. Depending on what year it is. Big Mike is here. How's it going, sir? Mike's been baling hay. Closest I get to baling hay is when the yard gets too high. What type of ATF should I run in my 42 RE? Well, I know if you ask Cope, he generally says red. I like regular Valvoline multi-vehicle ATF. That's what I run. The regular blue bottle Valvoline multi-vehicle ATF. Unfinished project says 14 Saturdays until No Name Nationals 24. I haven't counted it that way, but yes, I have 96 days, 2 hours, and 5 minutes is what I have. Barrows said it's way cool. James and James Candy Cane. Yep, coming up here in 5 minutes. Unfinished project likes high trans. Dougster likes the B&M trick shift. I like regular fluid. See, when people were running the friction modifier fluids, when that was really popular was before you had as many people running high pressure valve bodies. So I would rather have an upgraded valve body and more traditional transmission fluid. Dakota has a Dixie horn he's kind of saving for his 69 Charger that I don't have. Well, that's cool. If you're going to put it in anything, make sure it gets its full complement of voltage, because I hear them when they have bad grounds and such, and they run really slow and sound terrible. When I was a kid, there was some dude that ran around town in a mid-70s Nova with the square bumpers on it, and he had it orange and had the 01 and Confederate flag, and he had a pretty good little General Lee paint scheme going on it. There's a guy around town here who has a late 70s Dodge Murata, and he runs the General Lee's paint scheme. Dean says, broader performance, second gear trans brakes, and poor man's overdrives for C4. Why in the world would you have a second gear trans brake on a C4? Barrow says, every time I go to Walmart, I hit the automotive section and buy them out of Type F. They usually only have 2 or 3 quarts. Yeah. Barrows, you need to find a deal like I found on engine oil a couple of days ago. I'd like to find that on transmission fluid, that kind of deal. Ever use lube guard additive? I never have. Most little kids and women wouldn't know the difference. Most of the time when I see people say little kids and women wouldn't know, usually 98% of women and little kids wouldn't know, and 97% of the men who say that don't know either. I don't even know what you're talking about, but that's usually the case. Rapid Transit J loves the Murata. That was his first car. Yeah, they're cool. They're cool. It doesn't really look right as a General Lee at all, but it's still a cool car. Lots of diesel guys use second gear launch. Yes, for that, but he said a C4. Yes, you can get the Casper-Matic in a second gear trans brake for the E4OD 4R100 for your diesel application. As can you get the 46RH48RE. You can get that with second gear launch too. Barbecue with Neil says, if I don't know something about anything, I don't say anything at all. That is exceedingly rare. Usually, most of the YouTube crowd will make something up in the absence of being silent. Talking about a little kid not knowing what the General Lee is. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. I would say, though, that was more common that we did when I was a little kid, because the show was on currently when I was a little kid. Where do you even watch? Where have you even gotten to watch it, Dakota? Because that show's been out of circulation pretty much your whole life. That's good advice. Barbecue with Neil said, my dad told me keep your eyes, ears open, your mouth closed, you learn more. Yeah. Finger tight Jones says, get them torque wrenches out, fellas. BNR used lube guard in the GM when the torque converter shutter was a huge problem. I have had good luck. I know at least one car I got a torque converter shutter to go away completely with Valvoline Max Life, whatever the additive is in that. And for whatever that's worth, I mean, other things could have done it too, but it did cure it and never came back. Diesel has so much torque, you can nearly launch in direct. Oh yeah, you could. You absolutely could. You could run those diesel trucks without a transmission. But second gear launch is the thing for them. And again, he can correct me, if I'm wrong. Cope was in here earlier, but he says about 2/3 of the diesel guys get a second gear launch. But guys, we're up on our time. So I just want to thank everybody for being here tonight. Thanks for hanging out with us on a Friday. Do keep up with the No Name 500 guys that are doing their 30 shorts, 30 days. We're 10 days into a 30-day stretch. And We got 20 more days to go. The results have been fantastic so far. I'm enjoying it, doing it with you. I don't know what tomorrow's short's even going to be yet. Probably plugging or fixing that bad tire. But again, just whatever I'm doing is whatever y'all get to see a short on. And check out what everybody else is doing too. Thanks for coming out. James and James Show is live now with Big Block 402. See you guys there. Have a good weekend.